it's this should have come many years ago. मुझे ऐसा लगा था because I felt that this was starting to really get big. And then you walk into it and you see the first word gamer. And you're going, wow, awareness is there. But then you see the team behind it and then the team in front of it. And you go like, this looks like it's going to be very good. Now, off late what's happened is, few years back, you used to walk into interviews and you hadn't seen enough. Now I've actually seen enough. I saw the first 2 episodes and I must say, I'm going to start in no particular order. Let me say that in front. But Abhinay, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Neeta, who I've known for the longest time, congratulations. Well done. She's now become a producer. बड़े अच्छे दोस्त जब बड़ा अच्छा करने लग जाते हैं बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Anjali, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You are fantastic in the show. Whatever little I've seen so far, also very good. Darshil, I spent the longest time last week with Amir sir.
Okay.
For years, and we spoke for 7 hours for a 1-hour interview. It was fantastic. And I realized that what you've done, I have to tell you this also, before I come to the captain of the ship, that my wife is dyslexic, okay? So I always say this, that our lives changed when you did that one role. But I will come to you and say, were you stuck in that role for an eternity also?
Yes.
Because of that. We'll come to that. And of course, Arya, thanks so much for joining us, brother. Too far across, I don't want to jump across.
It's all good.
But Arya ki badi interesting Wikipedia hai. He was part of one of the most successful films where about 20 dialogues were spoken. But it was fantastic. In the darkness with guns, it was fantastic. Because everywhere you went after that, they said, how's the Josh? How was it, sir?
Hi, sir.
You were involved in that movie also.
Yes.
And therein also lies this beauty of, putting all these worlds together. So we'll come slowly to it. But yes, he may be the captain of the ship as a director. But the two of you, let's just talk about that. I mean, you've got a fantastic background with making all these very cutting edge, thriller-based shows of supporting them, being involved in that. You started off, the gentleman I was talking about with Darshil, you've also interacted at length with him.
First film.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you had a lot of success in the first film.
Yeah.
Then there is a lot of space in between there with Abhinay. Should have been another 40 films.
Correct.
But why?
So, first of all, I believe in the concept that I will only do what I really enjoy doing or I feel challenged doing. Yeah. And when you have started with Delhi Belly kind of a film, then I actually did not want to take on another comedy immediately. While I got, let me tell you this, I know the number, 47 scripts. Wow. I refused in 2 years after Delhi Belly.
You obviously didn't need the money.
Sorry?
You obviously didn't need the money because you could say no.
Thankfully didn't, now money is a very relative subject, we'll get to that some other day. But the idea was that because I've been an advertising person, that was my bread and butter. Right. And this was passion, pure passion. So in that case, I was not in a hurry to make another film. Right. So actually what I did was, funnily enough that you say that there was a gap. There was no gap. For me, after Delhi Belly, I got into a absolutely enormous project called 24. Which was
crazy.
200 days of shoot.
Wow.
And 24 episodes of 1 hour each.
Yes.
So that took away 2 years, maybe a little more than that, 2.5 years of my life, season 1. Yeah. And similarly, season 2. Yeah. So, and plus, I did four more films after that. Yes. So I have been busy doing a lot of films, except for I've only tried to do something that either challenged me to push the envelope of filmmaking, or something that genuinely interested me, like Blackmail, which I did comedy after 7 years of doing Delhi Belly. I did the next comedy, was Blackmail. And I had the good fortune of working with one of the best actors, Irfan, who's no more. But it was, so actually I have been busy a lot.
I tell you, I say this why, because now on every Friday there's some 5 films and 20 web shows releasing.
Oh yeah.
So what's actually happened is, I now meet actors, in a day there are 3 different shows that they're promoting.
Yeah.
So even technicians,
they're
moving from here. Yeah. It reminds me how television serials used to be. Yeah. One actor was doing 5 serials, just shirt was changing. So actually speaking, we've come into that world, which is scary because a lot of stuff is not working.
Yeah.
And one of the people, I've known Neeta for 15 years. Somebody who knew how to sell it Who knew how to market it, and was always the most driven to say that I want to end up making the stuff that I want to make. So now that you're a producer, how easy was that life, yeah? Of just being in the back and just saying, okay, do this and come here at 12 o'clock and done.
No, I don't think that was easy, you know, because when I still remember when I started my company with marketing, that time this entire marketing thing was very new.
Yeah.
I started it in 2012.
Yeah.
And that time, you know, like people used to do like one trailer launch event and that's it, few interviews.
Yeah.
So I remember when I got in, then also it was difficult because to explain the producer, no, let's do something different.
Yeah.
You know, let's do something innovative. Just doing a trailer launch event is not enough. There are 10 more things to do, you know. So it wasn't an easy phase. And I was lucky the first film that I did then, if you remember.
Of course.
Grand Masti,
Yes.
it became 100 crore.
Yeah.
And we had done so many different things with that, and then suddenly the dynamics had changed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this, when you get one hit film, people involved in it, everyone's life changes, right? So suddenly everyone was like, oh, who is the person who marketed this? And I think that was a good opportunity for me, and then we took on from there and did many more films. But initially it was not easy because when you try something new, you do something new, you want to break the clutter, you want to try something innovative, there are always challenges.
Correct.
So there was a lot of hard work then, and now I'm happy I've seen both the sides of the world. You know, I've seen the marketing PR world.
But now this is better now because you get all the credit now. Because if it does well, you're the producer.
That's true.
They're the producers to take the credit and go.
But you also have the risk. You run the risk of saying that agar pit gaya,
You're
the producer.
That's why you release on OTT, no? Somebody who's actually fantastic in this, you know, whatever little I've seen, actually, you're brilliant in this. Because I think you're like the other one. You know, you're the glue for all the worlds in Gamerlog. It's a very brave concept. You know why? Although it seems to have become fantastically relevant and very widespread, it is such a small group of people that actually play games in India. They are supremely successful. They're followed by 1 million people. But somehow, when you take their names, 99% of the population will say, who are they? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah.
And that's how it is. So to do this, did you suddenly say, this is really different, I should do it?
I actually did say it was really different. I should do it. I admittedly knew nothing about professional esports or that it was even called esports.
Were you shocked at how big it is in that small space?
No, that was one thing that I was not shocked of because I was very well aware of the fact that there are professional gamers and that it's a very, very lucrative industry, especially worldwide. I wasn't aware of how big it was in the Indian market.
Correct.
So that was a new introduction for me. I also just thought it was called professional gaming. I didn't know it was esports. When he first said esports, I was just like, what could it be? Something to do with cars, something sporty. I would never have known. But I mean, my world was definitely expanded when I first got introduced to this project. But I knew and I didn't know. Yeah.
And I like that there's a mix in this. Obviously, there's a lot of gameplay that is there, which you'll see as you go, you know, into the episodes as well. There's a lot of human emotion there as well, also, which you get to watch also. But I think somebody who played with emotions so well for all of us, I would say was now one of the most underrated actors that there is in performance space, because he was a prodigy. I say he was able to create a space where, if you look at one of the most landmark films in Indian cinema in the last 20 years, you know, his name will be up there with that, and it really is. You know, and you must be very proud of that, Darshil, because I know that you probably will get stuck in that zone. But if you retire today, the world will still know your name. If people come to Bombay to try to make their name and go into reality shows, फिर भी लोग नाम नहीं जानते हैं. But did it really take a toll on you as an actor? Because you were stuck in this fantastic space, unfortunately.
I was aware of it. I wouldn't say it took a toll on me. I am somebody who has ADHD, all sorts of attention problems. So there was always a risk of me getting bored of it. Otherwise, I don't think it took any toll on me. In fact, there was this sweet period in the middle when I was doing theatre where I was enjoying it actually. Because if you're good at something, keep doing it, man.
Correct,
I mean, it's a comfort space. But yes, there is an awareness that, yeah, this is one thing that I've been doing for the last 10 years. And we met before in the theatre.
Of course,
time.
but you know, very few have made the transition. Macaulay
Yeah.
Culkin was one of those, you know, poster children
Yes.
for superb success, but was not able to transition.
Right.
And I think in India, very few. I think Hansika is the only one. But if you see her in television acting, you'll not think it's the same person. So in your case, you've definitely tried to transition there. How difficult has it been to convince people? This is an interesting role. You know, there are two different sides to you. How difficult has it been to convince people कि यार मैं बहुत सारी और चीजें कर सकता हूँ. तुम तारे ज़मीन पर भूल जाओ.
So I'll tell you very honestly, and there is no such formula to this. I was focusing on theatre, and as soon as I got the pandemic hit, all the thoughts came back. Whatever you just mentioned, all of it came running, and I was down with COVID, and I was in my room, and fortunately or unfortunately, my phone was taken from me, so I had time to really sit and introspect. And that's when I was like, okay, we can continue with what's happening with regard to that one line that you were talking about. And then there are options of other auditions also happening. I'm very sure that a lot of people would want to see, or try rather, कि अगर something different can be done as an actor. So I said, okay, let's focus on these auditions. Let's try and be as truthful to them as possible. In fact, Gamerlog, for a matter of fact, was an audition as well.
Nice.
And Arya sir had come there, and he didn't give off that director vibe at all. It felt like he was like a brother to me. And I had auditioned for it, knowing very well that this is going to be something as very, very different, something unique, also same, you can say it if you've seen the episodes.
Yeah, of course.
So it'll be fun to try it out. So the idea for me right after the pandemic was to be as truthful as possible and reduce all that background noise and whatever else that is possible. Just focus, read, watch films, enjoy life, and it'll automatically work out for you. I keep repeating this, that you have to reach that level for those things to come to you, I feel. So when you have those in your those skills and whatever you want to call it in your armory, then you will be able to attract those characters or those roles.
You also have age.
And
your armory.
that's exactly what my father
many years.
is exactly what my father said to me in 2013 is when I took the break after I'd done a dance reality show, and my dad said that you have age on your side, make use of it.
Yes.
And until the pandemic, I was thinking, am I doing it right or no? But then right after, when I see the poster and I see us all sitting here, I think it's sort of going the right way.
Absolutely the right way. And this man that you see over there, Arya as the director, I think there's always a sense, the most nervous person will be the director. Always. The producer can't show he's nervous. He has to show faith in the director. The actors will do whatever they want to do. But, so I'll tell you, when we're doing this interview, it's a couple of days before the launch and all. But there's a lot riding on you. See, a lot of them will say, "Bahut acha hai. We'll do season 2, season 3 and all." And in your mind, there must be, "Aur agar nahi chali to?"
Absolutely.
So, just take me to the mind of the director right now. Experimental subject, interesting cast, not the usual people that you'd want to see. I mean, it's different. Everything is different about this. Why would you do this? You could have taken a much easier route.
I think easy or hard was not something that was ever taken into consideration or even ever crossed any of our minds when the script came to us. Like Abhinay sir said, and because I think the training that I've had under him for the last decade or so, plus working with Neeta for such a long time, it's Gamerlog for us was a fresh concept. And like I said, under his tutelage, it's always been about trying to do something new, trying to do something different, and most of all, trying to do something really interesting for everyone out there to see. And Gamerlog for me and for all of us was just that, with the script from the inception all the way till shoot and down to where it is today. And I think yes, definitely that fear is there, and there is that nervousness of the fact that it's the first show that's coming out and a lot rides on it and so on and so forth. But I don't think there was any time within the period of making it that I ever felt that I'm doing something which is far beyond what is possible or what is capable. And that's not because of me or what I have put into this show. It's because of everyone sitting here and everyone who couldn't make it today and everyone who's been in the crew as well. Like to go back to your statement earlier about, being the captain of the ship. That may be true, but at the end of the day, the ship really doesn't go far without the rest of the crew as well. And to me, the amount of support, love that I've had from day one till day today, and hopefully going forward as well, has just been phenomenal. And I can't, like, that feeling, I think, trumps anything which can hold me back or make me feel scared, nervous, or anything like that. And I just hope it.
And from what I see, the crew is actually very close. It does happen to try something very experimental as well. Was there any kind of should we not? Not at all?
Not at all. Right.
The subject decided you, or what do you think?
See, first of all, though, let me tell you this, that I was dying to get in to say that when he was talking about it was different, it was, the word that I use from my childhood about what I always like to do is vakda.
What is vakda?
Vakda is this colloquial Mumbai word, okay, which means teda. Okay, which is, my mind works like that. That whenever there is something simple, whenever there is something simple, I will run yards away from it. Whenever there is something that anybody says that, yaar, ye kaise hoega, is what gets my ears perked up. Which is, boss, ye to mere ko abhi try karna hi hai. So whenever there is a subject like this which comes up, we all sat together and said, ye to boss, this is great. And because it's one of its first. Yes. Because in gaming, there's not been a fiction series on gaming at all.
Fiction, not at all. There is reality shows, but not fiction.
Yeah. Fiction, nothing.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, we need to straddle a whole bunch of things while we are making this show. Sentiments, gaming, the gamers, they should not get alienated. The mass audience should not get alienated. At the same time, we need to send a message. Same time, we need to entertain, we want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Wow, that means basically we are doing everything.
Correct.
And then that's vakda enough for me.
And in the garb of gaming only. Otherwise, actually, there's some really lovely instances I like. There's that boy beatboxing and that bit going back. There are quirks in this, which is really cool. Like for narrative basis, it's very nice. It's moving at a great pace. So was that all put in? Or was there a lot of it also just jamming around the table and then deciding, let's do it? Was it like that?
If that's okay, I'd like to answer
please,
that
please,
one.
please.
I think that was jamming through and through.
Nice.
From day one, meeting every single one of these beautiful, beautiful cast members and learning, like we had a script in place when they came on board, and then they came and brought who they are to each of their characters, and the way the script started growing and expanding because of what they carried and brought forward to it was what you are seeing in terms of all these little nuances that are present, like Chetan bringing his beatboxing was something he just randomly told us that I know beatboxing and I'm a national beatboxer, and we were like, oh, this is incredible.
We have to
beatboxer.
Yeah. Wow.
National beatboxer?
And we were like, you have to.
You can't be surprised.
Of this.
You were shooting with him.
I didn't know. He didn't mention it to
You
me.
can expect her to not know.
Beautiful
She
voice.
has this way of showing that she's
Yes.
very involved, but she's actually not there. She does.
Singer, yes, I know that she's a great singer.
And like every one of them, they brought so much of themselves and the amount of passion and love that they put into not just their character, but into supporting each one of the other characters and helping them grow as well. It was phenomenal. Like one thing, which I think Anjali has pointed out earlier, and for this man, after we got him on board, he was, I think, our first cast to be locked. And as and when everyone else started coming in, of course, the rest of the crew and everyone was busy with pre-production and so on and so forth. But he took it upon himself, without having any kind of, I've come from a certain background, I've come from a certain film, whatever. He brought everyone together and really helped all of his co-stars to push themselves beyond what they have done. And it was so much fun just working with all of them. It's been a privilege for me.
The senior most, I like it. But how difficult was it to convince? So I try to see both sides, and the shows that I do is not just about having a chat with the cast members. A lot of people that are now watching this are aspirational. They want to produce shows. They want to think that, it can be done. I think we live in a day and age where so many people are actually making stuff. When you give a concept like this, was like say an Amazon, although they do something like this reality show wise, what was the response for this kind of a concept? Did they agree?
So the added advantage that I have is Abhinay is my partner.
Correct.
So the creative strength that he gets, with his body of work, 25 years of experience.
So was that the reason why also
that
they got convinced?
was one important reason because I'm not sure if I would just go with any other filmmaker and say this is what I want to make. See, there are two things here. They want to know what the concept is. They want to know the people behind the concept.
Yeah.
Because one thing is presenting something on paper, right? One thing is converting it onto the big screen, right? You could go wrong there. So, of course, I would, really thank Amazon MX Player, Amog and Mayuri because they believed in the show. They loved the concept. They loved the idea. Gaming is a $2.2 billion industry today. No one has ever done a show with a backdrop of gaming. But the way the episodes flow, the screenplay writing, the character building, it is beyond gaming.
Yeah, of course.
So it dwells into these youngsters, their lives, their insecurity, the emotions, the love, the friendship, the betrayal, everything. The competitiveness between them, So it was a balance of the gaming world and the emotions and relatable real characters. So they loved that. And of course, Abhinay being the producer and the creative producer, they knew that it's in right hands. And when they heard Arya's vision as a director, though he is a first-time director, the way he presented the show, his thoughts on it, to the team,
that was a winner.
I think that was a winner. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was a collaborative effort.
So he's breathing a sigh of relief. Acha, at least ye wala part ho gaya.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Whenever you talk about body of work, how difficult, I mean, I want to talk generally about what OTT is up to these days. A lot of discussions are there. A lot of people are doing complete 180-degree shifts in the kind of content that they're coming out with it.
True.
Have we reached a stage where the public is saturated, or do they actually sit and binge watch anymore? Is that a word actually anymore? Do people actually binge watch?
Yeah.
Or do they really, because so many shows come out.
Correct.
And you just don't realize where they all, you've done about 4 or 5 shows.
3.
3 shows.
Yes.
So when you go out there, but if you ask people, मेरा कौन सा show पसंद है? They'll go, नहीं आप पसंद है हमें पता नहीं exactly कौन सा show.
Yeah.
Correct.
How difficult is it to get out of the clutter right now?
So that's actually a fantastic thought, and we need to have a long conversation on this, which is that yes, today the time is such that there is so much content, so much of similar content, so much of bhasad, as you say, which has been thopoed onto the public. But having said that, I think that's what challenges makers, or that's what should challenge makers. According to me, people should take the cognizance of the fact they should be realizing that there is so much that if I need to stand out, I need to have better writing, I need to have better performers, better performances, I need to have better direction, I need to have better awareness of music, of lensing, about everything. You need to up your game. And I think I look at it from that point of view. बिकॉज हम लोग अगर बैठे हैं सोचते हुए कि यार ये तो बहुत सारा है, हम भी उसमें एक ट्रेन में एक वैगन अपनी भी लगा दें, पॉइंटलेस है. लगाओ अपनी भी वैगन, एक्सेप्ट फॉर मेक श्योर दैट दैट वैगन शाउट्स आउट लाउड, and people in the train spot that wagon. So I think
somewhere I feel the public is taken for granted sometimes.
Yes, of course.
And that's where I was chatting with a very esteemed filmmaker right now, and he's saying, I used to ask this question earlier also. So when you see a film and somebody say, यार ये कैसे बनाई है picture? किसी को दिखाई नहीं क्या? This is general reaction people say.
Yeah.
So I say, do you do screenings with real people?
Correct.
And not just with friends and family?
Correct.
Do filmmakers actually do real screenings? Can you actually do a real screening with friends and family and they'll say, बहुत बकवास बनाया है. Can you change certain parts? And would you do that?
Am I allowed to answer that honestly?
Yes, please, of course. Only look at me.
So, yeah. I think it's very difficult to get that kind of genuine feedback at such occasions. Because, and it's not, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone at all, because I feel like when you're in that situation, there is a lot of social pressure, not just on the people who have made the particular product, but also on the people who have been invited there to see it. And it's where they come from is absolutely fair in that given moment. So, yeah.
No, but to add to that, I think it's extremely important to do it.
Yeah.
It's very important to do it. And I've learned that from none other than Mr. Amir Khan.
Yeah.
So the filmmaker I was talking about was him only.
Because I'll tell you something, when my film was done, and this is my first film, I think that film was shown to more than 600 people.
Yeah, you told me.
And the 600 people that saw the film had nothing to do with any one of us.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Correct.
And the first 2 screenings, they took Delhi Belly and ripped it to pieces. I went home thinking that khatam mera career over. Because people were like, ये पत्थर मारेंगे लोग, ये बकवास picture है, कुछ नहीं है इसका, what the hell is this crap? I swear to God, this is what the reactions were. And you've got to be able to, but the most important thing that I learned from him was, you've got to take 600 views, okay, and you need to pick and choose which was the view that needs to see itself into the film. Now that needs a very supple mind to be able to kind of, navigate through those 600 views and not get carried away with rubbish that has been said and some very valid points that have been said, and then make sure that you're picking the valid and putting it into your film or navigating your film according to that. That's very important.
Before I wrap, I want to know, did you make changes?
In Delhi Belly?
After the...
Yeah. After the view, most certainly. Can you imagine? After the view, we did make changes, but changes mean no shoot. Not a single day was shot.
Edit changes.
Edit changes. We took out 3.5 minutes after the views.
3 minutes changed the game. But that's what it is. Treat the people with respect, which is why I say, get real people like it used to be 20 years back. Or 15 years back when we actually used to give proper reviews, not anymore. Which can be bought for $50, but but make sure you go out there. This is very interesting. It's in a new space. I'm really looking forward to that. Next, maybe 1 or 2 years, I hope that we can go into a space which will actually really bring gaming out, and this 2 billion industry will probably be 200 billion by then. Take care and bye bye. This is Salil signing out. Hope you enjoyed this.
Thank you.